Vietnam's banking sector is going through a massive, radical transformation. Today, we're diving into a report that breaks down how digital banking and these super agile startups aren't just changing the game, they are fundamentally rewriting the rules of finance.
So what's the real engine behind Vietnam's incredible economic growth? Well, if you really look closely, what you'll find is this powerful clash, this dynamic between legacy institutions and a massive new wave of digital-first innovation.
And it is a full-scale revolution in digital banking. We're not just talking about a simple upgrade here. We're talking about completely reshaping how finance works for millions of people and for thousands of businesses across the country.
All right, here's how we're going to break it down. We'll kick things off with an overview of the revolution itself. Then we'll get into the core drivers and the key challenges. After that, we'll look at some really compelling case studies and wrap it all up with a look at what the future of collaboration looks like in this ecosystem.
Okay, first up, the revolution itself. You know, Vietnam's banking system has taken this dramatic leap. It's gone from a very centrally planned, state-dominated model to a modern, competitive financial ecosystem that is absolutely critical to its economic growth. And to give you a sense of the scale here, as of 2025, the market has about 49 licensed institutions. You've got this mix of local commercial banks, foreign players, and these state-owned giants. And all of that creates this fiercely competitive environment that is just ripe for disruption.
And this really paints the perfect picture of the core dynamic. On one hand, you've got four massive state-owned commercial banks that, they hold the dominant market share. But right there with them, you have this group of incredibly agile private banks who are just moving so fast, aggressively embracing digital transformation to compete.
So let's move on. That begs the question, right? What are the key technological forces that are actually making all of this happen?
So a huge driver is banking as a service, or BaaS. The key thing to understand here is that banks are finally opening up their closed systems through APIs. And what that does is it allows fintechs to embed financial services directly into their own platforms. It creates these seamless experiences for customers and, of course, new revenue streams through open collaboration.
And building right on top of that is this shift toward platform banking. You know, banks are not just places to store your money anymore. They're evolving into these integrated digital marketplaces. Just imagine a single app where you manage your money. You get insurance, you book travel, you pay your bills. It's becoming a one-stop shop that really deepens that customer relationship.
Now, if you need proof that this isn't just theory, just look at these numbers. It's happening right now. Look at the explosive growth in QR code payments in just the first quarter of 2025. You've got a 76.6% jump in the number of transactions and an incredible 179% surge in the total value. This is powerful, hard evidence of a massive shift to a cashless economy.
And holding all of this up are three foundational technologies. This is the innovation toolkit. You've got AI and machine learning being used for smarter credit scoring and fraud detection. Big data is allowing for personalization like we've never seen before. And of course, cloud technologies are providing that essential agility and scale you need to innovate quickly.
Now, of course, a transformation this big, it's not without its obstacles. So let's take a clear-eyed look at the key challenges that Vietnam's banking sector has to navigate to get to full digital maturity.
A major technical hurdle is the reliance on these old legacy core systems. I mean, so many banks are still running on this clunky, monolithic infrastructure. And that makes it incredibly difficult and expensive to integrate with new partners and innovate at speed, especially compared to modern cloud-native systems that are literally built for agility. And there are other big hurdles, which, for innovators also represent huge opportunities. There are still major gaps in financial inclusion, especially out in rural areas. Data is often fragmented, which makes it impossible to get a single view of the customer. And with fast digitization comes bigger cybersecurity risks and a really critical shortage of tech talent. These are all areas where new solutions are desperately needed.
And this brings us to the really exciting part of the story. Okay, so how are these challenges actually being solved? Let's dig into some case studies of startups whose partnerships with banks are driving real, tangible innovation.
So first, let's take a look at Finan. They've built this AI-powered operating system for small and medium-sized businesses. By partnering with major banks like HD Bank and BIDV, they're letting these tiny micro-shop owners open digital accounts and get access to cashless payment tools. This directly boosts financial inclusion for small businesses.
Next up is MFast, and this company tackles that rural inclusion gap head-on. They have built an incredible tech-enabled agent banking network with over 180,000 collaborators. This network is basically a bridge, extending the reach of financial institutions into these really underserved areas and democratizing access to things like credit and insurance.
And then you've got Citics, a proptech startup using big data and AI to totally transform real estate finance. By plugging into over 26 million land records, their platform automates property valuation. And their partnership with VP Bank is streamlining the entire mortgage lending process, making it way faster and much more transparent.
So, when you put all this together, what does it all mean for the future? Well, the one clear takeaway is that the future of banking in Vietnam is collaborative. Period.
There's a quote from the report that just absolutely nails it. Bank-startup partnerships aren't just a nice-to-have trend. They're becoming the cornerstone for sustainable growth. This is the only path forward to a truly innovation-driven financial infrastructure.
So, looking ahead, the crucial point for investors and for founders is AI integration. This is going to be the next transformative frontier, using AI to dramatically improve credit risk assessment, to automate processes, and to build the kind of tough, resilient cybersecurity defenses that this ecosystem needs to thrive.
And all of this leaves us with one final critical question. As these partnerships get deeper and more integrated, how will this synergy between the established banks and these agile startups unlock the next wave of value in Vietnam's incredible financial transformation? That right there is the multi-billion-dollar question, and it's the space to watch.